The following segment contains violence which some viewers might find offensive. Viewer discretion is advised. On Friday, May 1st, between 2 and 3 p.m., 18-year-old Jarvis St. Remy goes over to his best friend's house after school, like he does every afternoon in the Dundas Street and St. Clair Avenue West neighborhood of West Toronto. They are joined by another friend and spend the rest of the day hanging out and watching TV. At 10:30 p.m., Jarvis leaves to catch the bus to make it home for his 12 o'clock curfew. He usually makes it home in time. He lives a 15-minute bus ride away. The grade 12 student is waiting for the bus at the TTC stop on the corner of Dundas and Howland Street. While he is waiting alone, two men approach him. They shoot him and run away. The shooters run across Dundas Street and are last seen headed down into the valley of Old Dundas Street. Some passerby stops to help Jarvis. An ambulance is called, but Jarvis does not survive.
He left my home. I heard shots and called 911, looked off the balcony and saw Jarvis laying there on the sidewalk. Oh, I was devastated. Ran right outside and seen him laying there in a pool of blood.
This is the bus that he was waiting for. The bus actually rolled up very shortly after he was shot and was laying on the sidewalk. It was fairly busy. There was cars driving by, some of whom have already come forward and given us some information. There was people out. It was a warm evening. They were out on balconies, out walking in this area. We have information that there was two females directly on this street in this area that would have seen exactly what happened and would have seen the two parties running away. And so if they could call Crime Stoppers or call the Homicide Squad. Homicide Squad is 416-808-7400, or they could call Crime Stoppers, which is 222-TIPS.
As many as 3 shots were reported being heard. The two shooters are both male, black, and were dressed in dark clothing. They had their hoods up. One is taller than the other. They are believed to be between the ages of 17 to 27.
Although they were hooded at the time of the shooting, their hoods may have come off, or they may have taken them down a short distance away from here. So as trivial as it may seem, we would ask people to call.
Jarvis was not a gang member or known to the police at all. They do not know why he was targeted.
According to witnesses, they were very close, probably within an arm's reach or very close to an arm's reach.
I have no idea. I think it was mistaken identity. Jarvis didn't have enemies.
Police do not know if there is any connection between Jarvis's murder and any of the other murders that have happened in the area recently.
The community is concerned. The people that have come forward, they do so reluctantly. There's a certain amount of hesitation on their part to get involved, but to give us tips anonymously, we won't know who you are, and we can just take that information and perhaps something would come of it. But the community is obviously concerned. We could get a lot more information than we're getting, though, from this community. I'm very certain of that.
Based on their escape route, the shooters seem familiar with the area.
Anybody that night of the shooting that saw anything, persons involved, any vehicles that may have been involved or they think were involved, saw or heard anything from that night, anybody that has any information on any incident prior to this homicide or after this homicide that they think may be related to this incident, please call us directly or call Crime Stoppers. We do know that there was a group of youths walking up near the arena, north of this location, and they walked down into this area of the bus stop and the plaza. We would appeal to those youths to call us. They must have seen or heard something. We can tell you from video in the area that that there was quite a bit of traffic. Somebody other than the very few witnesses in vehicles that we have spoken to, somebody else has seen this.
Jarvis's best friend, whose home he was leaving the night he was killed, is devastated. His mother says he spends most of his time alone now. Even she does not like to leave the house after Jarvis's murder and is considering moving from the neighborhood she has lived in for almost 20 years. Jarvis would have graduated from high school in a month. He dreamed of becoming a computer engineer. Instead, his mother had to bury him on the eve of Mother's Day.
I spoke with Mom. She's obviously very distraught. He has a younger brother that's very distraught, and she's just looking for answers. You know, she wants to know what happened to her son, who would do this to her son, and why. And that's what she keeps saying to us.
Very nice boy, always smiling, loving, caring, never bothered anybody.
If you have any information about this case, call Crime Stoppers toll-free at 1-800-222-TIPS.